And so welcome everyone to our second weekly call. I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, and I'm very happy. Oh, I realized I didn't start my video. People, if you're coming onto this through the internet, you're welcome to see us through video, and if you're seeing us just through phone, that's completely fine as well. And so thanks to everyone who is joining us online, and I really appreciate your touch and base and getting the updates. So all right, so coronavirus update. So as of yesterday, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, said that there is 163,539 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. You know, there are over, let me see here, I want to get the exact number. I had it right in front of me. cdc.gov. Sorry, I thought I had this right in front of me. I'll have it in front of me in 2 more seconds. But basically, I wanted to say the number of people who have actually died of this also, because we want to keep people in our thoughts as our nation is going through this. Cases in the U.S. updated April 1st, today. As of today's date, there are 3,603 total reported deaths as a result of this virus. And so, as I mentioned, we do want to take this seriously, and we do not want to undermine it in any way. And we do want to, you know, just look at it as the facts say, all right? And as the facts do show us, you know, there are people who are getting sick, and there are people who are dying as a result of this. And I also want us to be clear to make sure to keep it in perspective. We want to see things as they are, but we do not want to see things worse than they are. And I want people to hear me on this. You know, humanity is amazing. And we human beings do have a knack for being very, very resilient. We have survived crazy world wars. We have survived ice ages. We have survived the bubonic plague. We have survived things that are much, much worse than this virus will ever be. All right? And I want everyone to know that we as a species are very resilient, and at the end of the day, we will survive this. All right? I say with very much confidence. And the truth is you know, there are 327.2 million people in the United States, and currently the numbers are 163,000 have been confirmed to actually have the virus, which is a very, very, very small percentage of our actual population. It's actually less than 4 out of 1,000 people actually have these cases. And so, again, we want to see things as they are, but we do not want to see them worse than they are. And even the scariest projections that are out there are, you know, even the scariest and kind of most doomsday projections that are out there by the experts are, you know, less than around 500,000 cases, all right? And the projections that are like really bad and scary are like, okay, 500,000 of us could get this at some point within the next 6 weeks. And so, you know, we want to take those seriously, and we want to take our precautions, and we want to wash our hands, and we want to do the social distancing to limit that number as much as possible, all right? So we do want to take it seriously, but at the same time, we want to keep things in perspective that even that is still a relatively small percentage of our population. Even that shows that the chances that anybody that's on this call today, or the chances that any one of us actually have the virus, is really, really very, very low. all right? Much lower than, say, if one of us has cancer, right? And so I do want us to keep that in perspective. All right, that's my update on the coronavirus. The next update I want to give is what's going on with immigration, all right? So immigration court, for people with cases in immigration court, have canceled all of their non-detained hearings through May 1st, all right? And so if you have a case that's in immigration court, your case will be rescheduled in between. If it was currently scheduled between now and May 1st, it will be rescheduled, all right? Hearings after May 1st, as of today's date, are moving forward. If you have a case with USCIS, so not in immigration court, but in front of the Immigration Service, USCIS have closed its offices now, as of yesterday, through May 3rd, okay? And so basically the month of April is a month where we can be preparing cases and things like that, but we will not be having in-person interviews. There will not be actual in-person services happening with USCIS during the month of April, all right? And another kind of small update, kind of as a result of this, just yesterday, the immigration court system has announced that they're accepting email filings for the first time in history, and so that's cool, I guess. Welcome to the 21st century, to the immigration court system. We can now file asylum, for example, file other documents through email. All right, so that's all I'm going to say about my update for immigration. Anybody that wants a more thorough update about how this is affecting immigration cases, please get to, hang on a second, I'm seeing my assistant got logged out of this call. I hope that we're still all on. I think that we are still on our call. I see that some people are still listening, so good. Anyway, I was saying that if you want to hear a kind of more rigorous step-by-step, case-by-case analysis on how this is affecting each case, please do download or check out our call from last week. And I went over each of the different case types and how this might be affecting us case by case. All right? All right, so we've talked about the coronavirus update. We've talked about my immigration update. I do want to announce that there's kind of a national update next. So there is this $2 trillion package that has been passed. Based on my understanding and based on my reading of CNN this morning, the government estimates that it'll take at least 3 weeks for individuals to actually receive any money from that. And again, what they're doing is they're giving some, allocating some resources to certain businesses, allocating some resources to give better incentives on certain loans, and they're giving cash aid of what they're saying is $1,200 per individual, depending on income. So if your adjusted gross income was over a certain amount, it will be less than that per individual, and they have it kind of allocated per family as well. We can put a link in emails and things like that to give people better information to that. Things are not super clear exactly of how it's going to be disseminated through the population right now. But what I have heard is that the IRS wants, basically they're using information from 2018 and 2019 tax returns. And so, for example, my understanding is if you had a direct deposit slip for a refund in 2018 or 2019, then my understanding is that the IRS will use that information to disseminate these payments, all right? And so what I've heard from the IRS is that if you haven't filed 2018 or 2019 taxes, they urge you to do that and to do that quickly so that it's easier for them to calculate and to disseminate this money, all right? And so hopefully everybody can do that. And as I said, it's unclear right now how this package, how this economic stimulus package will come into play with immigration status. I'm not sure if, for example, immigrants who are undocumented but have filed tax returns, I'm not sure how they will be able to receive part of this stimulus package, and we will be able to give better information on that as the regulations and things come down. Because right now it's all very, very new, and we're getting this. So hopefully even by next week's call, we'll have better information as to who exactly can be receiving this cash aid, which I know we all are looking forward to. All right, so that's all I'm going to say as far as our national update. As far as our office is still working during this time, and we are still able to take calls. We're using this time to get work done on pending cases. We're able to do declarations. We're able to get applications and forms prepared. We're able to prepare everything and send them off to immigration. Because even though immigration is not doing in-person services, they are still accepting filings. And so the truth is that if you have a green card application, or if you are working with a, renewing a green card or a work permit or whatever, do it. Now's a great time to do it, because the truth is that after all of this is over, and after we're all starting to recover from this situation, I estimate that once immigration really opens itself back up again, it's going to be receiving a lot of filings at that time. And so for our clients, I really want us to be ahead of that curve. And we can use this time where immigration officers don't have interviews, they can still be reviewing applications. And so let's get our applications on file now when we can, because we can do that all. Plus, immigration is allowing us to use scanned signatures for the first time. And so there's more flexibility, and we're able to file more creatively and do our work remotely. So I just wanted to share that. All right, so it's now 10:15. I'd like to shift our conversation now into what I like to do. I'm big into mindset, and I'm big into how do we keep our positive attitude during this time. And I have this really crazy idea, right? And I'm not the only person that has it, but I do have this idea, and it really is the power of our minds. All right, our minds, what we tell our minds and what we show our minds affects us. And our minds have the power to turn what we're thinking into reality. And because of that, I really encourage people to not think about sickness, and not think about germs, and not think about like all of this like problems related to negative health. All right? Because I really do believe, and you can call me crazy for believing it, but I really do believe that if we think sickness, sickness, sickness all day, every day, our mind will make us sick. And that's you might call me wrong. I have zero scientific evidence to back that up. But it's like I would much rather everyone on this call think thoughts of health. Think the question, right? How can I make myself healthy now? How can I live healthy now? All right? And so yes, wash hands, keep social distancing, absolutely. But also, please, 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 let's get our exercise, right? Please, I love to drink a green smoothie. My wife and kids and I, we drink a green smoothie every morning with green vegetables in it, green leafy plants. I really encourage everyone to stop and consider, what are we thinking about, and are we focusing on sickness during this time, or are we focusing on health during this time? Because actually what I assert we need to be focusing on is how can we stay healthy. We're locked indoors, and we're sort of stuck with the shelter-in-place order. and we're not able to socialize and get out too much. And I really recommend that we still take care of our health, all right? Still eat well, all of that stuff. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So when I was a kid, between the ages of 3 and 11, my family lived in Alaska, all right? And so I want to just talk about this a little bit. So my father was the pastor of a church, and we went up to Alaska as missionaries to the United Methodist Church, and I grew up there. And in Alaska, the winters are long, and they're cold, and there isn't much sun, and it is a fairly isolating place. And it can be a fairly isolating time, winter in Alaska. It can be a pretty isolating time for people who live up there, all right? And me as a kid, I loved it. And I would, my brothers and sisters and I, we would shovel snow off of the top of the roof of our house into this big, enormous pile, and we would do flips off of the roof and land in the snow. In fact, we would snowboard off of the roof and land just in a big, huge pile of snow down below. And it was I remember loving these long, cold winters because it was just paradise for me as a young child, all right? And I want to talk about, winters, because we might consider that this coronavirus, right, has put us all into a winter and has put us all into a time where we have to think about how are we going to get through it, all right? Now, this is a lesson that is not my own. This is a lesson that I have learned from a guy named Jim Rohn, if you want to know my source. But this lesson goes like this, all right? It's basically, there are 4 major lessons that we have to learn in our lives, all right? What are those 4 major lessons? The first is, we need to learn to take advantage of the spring. The second lesson is we need to learn how to work the summers. The third lesson is we need to learn how to harvest in the fall. And the fourth lesson is we need to learn to survive the winters. All right? And now it's also true, right, that right now we're at the, we're experiencing this national time. And it's true that we are not in winter, like it's not winter for everyone. In fact, I would say that right now is a springtime. It's a time full of opportunity for some industries. If you are in the business of helping people work remotely, if you are in charge of free video conferencing, like we're doing right now, or a teleseminar or something like that, now is a time with a lot of opportunity because more and more people are working remotely, all right? If you are selling soap, now is a time full of opportunity, all right? And so I just want us to keep that in perspective. It's not a winter time for everyone, but the truth is that it's a winter time for a lot of people. And during this time, it's like, okay, every winter has an end, and the next thing that follows winter in every time in life is the springtime. And so the question about spring is, okay, spring is a time where we have to find an opportunity, risk something, right? Put our seeds into a ground, go for the opportunity, actually put ourselves out there to put something in the ground, not knowing what's going to come in the fall. And we've got to give it a go, right, in the spring. And that is what is going to be coming at the end of this time. All right, and I want us to keep that in mind, because in each of our lives, all right, we're going to face opportunities in the future. And so knowing that is going to happen, right now the question is, what actions can we take now to prepare for that? All right? And yes, we want to get through this winter, but we don't just want to get through it. We want to find ways to really thrive through it. And the way to thrive through it is to start finding ways to educate ourselves, finding ways to prepare ourselves, finding ways to use this time to connect better with others, and to look for opportunities in our life to really maximize our chances of doing well in the future. All right? If English isn't your best language, now's a great time to be watching YouTube videos to improve your English. If you really wanted to learn French or Russian or Chinese or something like that, now is a great time to learn that through YouTube, through the internet, right? There are opportunities to hone up on our skills. There are opportunities to clean out our houses, our electronics, our whatever, to prepare for things to be better in the future. All right? And there are relationships that we all have that perhaps we have let slide in the past. And really, relationships are the key to getting through this, and to getting through this positively. And so which relationships can we be cultivating right now? And which old friendships, have we, we probably all have friends that we haven't reached out to in a long time. And I would really urge each of us to use this time as an opportunity to reach out to our old friends, because that is a way to prepare ourselves to be better off in the future also, because it is through our friends that we find new opportunities. All right? So here's my challenge here as I'm coming to an end of my little spiel, and then we'll turn it over to Q&A. Here's my challenge to each of us. Pull out a piece of paper. All right? And if you're listening to this in the car, just take a note of it and pull out a piece of paper when you get to a place where you can write something down. Write down a list of 3 to 5 action items that you can do right now to prepare for the spring. Write down a list of 3 to 5 actual things that you can do right now, people that you can call, actions that you can take to check in with others and to make this time as productive as you possibly can. All right? Here in our office, we are doing everything that we can to be as productive as possible during this time, because it's like, the bottom line is, I really encourage everybody to not think of this as like a big pause on our lives, like, oh, there we go, we can't do anything right now. That's actually false, and it's bad thinking to say, oh, we can't do anything right now. Even if we've lost our job, right? It's not that we can't do anything. That's not the right frame of mind. The frame of mind is, what can we do? Everybody who is listening to this right now has things we can do. And the key is to focus our attention and to look at what those things are that we can actually get done right now, and then get into action and do it. All right? If we sit back and everybody is feeling helpless and feeling sorry for ourselves and feeling sorry for everybody else around us and just not doing anything, that's not going to move us forward. All right? I really urge everyone to be in action and to focus on 3 to 5 things that we really can take care of. And let's use this time as an opportunity to learn more, to be in communication more, with the people in our lives so that we can get through this together and then thrive as we come off of it and we enter spring again, because spring does always come after winter. All right, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much. Please, let's put us on Q&A mode in order to... Okay, awesome. So in order to ask a question, you do need to hit *6. And so hit *6 and join our conversation if you have any questions. And thank you all so much for joining me. Let's see, Christy, do we have any questions?
We do not.
Okay, cool.
No questions. Oh, one question.
Nice.
For number ending in 9480, I'm going to unmute. Okay, go ahead.
I have a case with Mr. Lannerhorn. And
Good.
He's mentioned from last conference. This is Ines Albana.
Oh, nice.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just, I listened to you last time. Oh, can you hold on 1 second? Sorry.
Sure. All right, so while she's coming on, everyone else hit *6 if you have a question. And also, I'd love it if you want to hit *6 and think about 3 to 5 things, and maybe share with us what are 3 to 5 things that you could do or that you plan on doing during this time.
Hello?
Yes, hello?
I'm sorry, and my phone was, I had to run and get my charge.
No problem.
How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I've been listening to your conference calls. That really, they really, you know, put, just thinking about, because I'm like sitting here, I was waiting on the abundance that, you know, we're supposed to wait on.
Yes.
And you mentioned that the offices are closed.
All right. So let me clarify that. The office, USCIS, is closed for in-person services. So they're going to reschedule interviews and things like that. But in your situation, you're talking about an ombudsman request. All right, and that is something that can still function during this time. It does not require an in-person interview.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, your particular situation, you know, I mean, your case is, immigration has been delaying and delaying and delaying in your case. And so, yes, we are trying to get an answer from immigration for you.
So it's still, just have to wait, because I know it's like 30 days. We filed February 6th.
Yes.
So it's just, I mean, it's obvious that there's, I don't know what's going on. It's got to be delayed from that. I don't know if it's...
Well, yes,
I don't know what to say.
I mean, I don't know what to say too much either, quite frankly, as far as the delays within immigration. And we will still stay on top of immigration. You know, your case is unfortunately so outside of normal processing times that during this time, you bring up a great point. It's a great opportunity. It's a great time, right?
Yeah.
To be in touch with immigration and be like, yo, can we issue a decision already?
Yeah.
Because your case is like way outside of normal processing times.
So are we going to go ahead and proceed with that, or just going to wait?
No, we will use this time and we will send an additional update and see where they're at and whether or not they can issue a decision.
Okay. I appreciate it.
And I'm making a note here. We'll make sure that that happens.
Thank you so much, Mr. Langone.
You know, since you're on the phone, you are an inspiring person, and you have gone through a lot in your life. Do you have any words of wisdom for us? You know, how are you doing during this time, and you know how are you keeping your mind positive during this time?
I've been positive for a very long time. It's almost becoming normal for me, and you know, I'm happy that I'm home, because I just, you know, I went back to the hospital 3 weeks ago and came back. Now I'm with my kids. I love, you know, that I'm home and spending time with them.
Yeah.
I'm just taking this time off to enjoy, you know, being home with my family. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I feel sorry, and
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but would you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about your situation?
Yeah. I can.
Yeah, go for it. You got the mic. I don't see anybody else with questions. And if you do have questions, remember to hit *6 so that we can do that. But Miss Albana, thank you for being with me here. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about your situation?
Well, starting from like my health issue, or just
yeah,
you know,
that's really what I was hoping to have you share, if you're comfortable.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis back in 2009, and struggled with the disease for almost 9 months out of the year. I was having flare-ups, and I was in the hospital almost about 7 to 8 months in the hospital, just trying to get healed from it. There was no cure for the disease, and 7 years passed, so my disease worsened, and I've sought second and third opinions. I went to Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, and they had no answers for me. I was on steroids, 90 milligrams per day for almost 9 years out of my life, on and off. Developed all kinds of symptoms from it and issues. And just 3 years ago, I went to see a doctor in the Cleveland Clinic, and he changed my diagnosis to Crohn's colitis, and suggested that I get surgery, cut off my colon and almost 40% of my intestines taken out. And I was always against surgery, didn't want to have it because of the outcome from it, having to live with an ileostomy for the rest of my life. Was a big problem for me. And you know, just got worse for me, and I started developing abscesses and fistula wounds, and to where it just started spreading into my female organs, and to where they suggested that I should have this surgery or else I'm gonna die. They gave me like 6 months to live from it. They thought I was crazy because I didn't want to have the surgery, but just, you know, my mind was not all there. Having to struggle with taking care of my kids, and my health was just hard for me at the time. So I finally decided to have surgery 1.5 years ago. I took out 40% of my intestines, my whole colon, rectum, everything else that comes with it. Disease came back 6 months ago. Started having symptoms from Crohn's again. Went back in and had 2% of my intestines removed. I was in the hospital for almost 10 years of my life, and just, you know, dealing with it. And there's times where I was, you know, went into depression, and obviously I fought it. I think I'm a lot stronger than, you know, being depressed. So here I am, living here, still struggling with it, but my kids keep me happy. I have 2 boys, and I feel like I live for them. You know, there's no other words I can really explain. I'm still struggling with it. I'm in and out of the hospital, but I still feel strong. I still feel like I can overcome my disease. For some reason, I feel like, you know, I've turned to God so many times, and I have faith in Him. And
cool.
It's a battle. It's a battle, but you know, it's tough. It's hard on me. I've stayed in ICU for 6 months straight, so I'm used to like being, you know, intubated, being home and not having to deal with, you know, the social life. So when you asked me to, you know, to talk about this time, it's really like normal for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to, you know. So
well, I really appreciate your sharing, because one, you're an enormous inspiration. You've been through so much. And 2, it's like to go through everything that you've gone through, and to still have a positive outlook, and still be a great mom to your kids, and to still be you know, a positive contribution to the people around you, and to keep a positive outlook with a never-ending immigration case, it seems like.
Exactly.
And you've been a great client all through this, and such a pleasure to work with. And anyway, I want to thank you for sharing today, and I want to thank you for being who you are, because you're such a yeah, it's like, you know, compared to what you've gone through, I mean, it's just it puts my own challenges into serious perspective. You know, I've never faced any serious health issue the way you have, and so I really appreciate you sharing today.
Yeah, it's thank you. Honestly, like, there's times where because I get all your emails and I read all of them, and I look at all your videos and you know, your conference calls, and you actually inspire me. I'm actually happy that I met you, because you have this positive attitude that I've always had, but you know, I've never showed it because of, you know, me being sick all the time. But I really, like, I can connect with you.
That's cool.
I really do feel that. Thank you so much for keeping, you know, for your words of wisdom. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And I hope that we can move forward from, you know, with all of this, and everybody can move on. And like you said, this isn't bad. As you know, there's people that have it worse than us. You know, there's millions of people died in wars, and you know, the Holocaust. People were hiding for years under the bed.
That's right.
So, thank you so much, Mr. Landerholm, and hopefully we can get an answer from them so I can move on from this problem.
Yep, you got it. You got it.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and I really appreciate it, and stay strong. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right?
Bye-bye.
Christy, do we have another caller?
We do not.
All right. All right, everybody. Well, it is 10:42. and so I'm going to wrap up today's call, and we'll do this in Spanish starting at 11 a.m. Feel free to join us back at 11 if you want to do this in Spanish. Thanks so much for being with us today, and please do think about keeping in action, right? Much of the stress, I think, comes from feeling like, oh, there's nothing that I can do right now. And that's actually false. And the focus that we ought to have is what can we do, all right? And so let's find things we can do. Let's get them done. All right, let's get into productivity, and if that means calling every friend you've ever had in your whole life, hey, let's take that on. All right, we can do that in the month of April. This is a beautiful month. It's the month of my birthday, and so hey, let's make it a good one. So thanks everybody. Great to see you. I am planning on having these calls weekly. Tune in if you want, same time next week. And changes are happening so fast, there's always going to be some new thing to announce. So let's just tune in during this time, and we'll get through it together. So thanks. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. All right. Bye.